Hey all, Dr. Sully here, lead scientist at the science lab. So I'm putting this video in my science log to record my latest patient. Now, you see, this couple walked into my science lab for a possible, genetic treatment, I guess. I don't know, like genetic counseling of some sort. But they're asking for treatment of their disorder, and I naturally, being a doctor, being a licensed doctor, asked them, of course, what's the disorder? And they tell me maple syrup urine disease. Right. Which is apparently a real thing in the real world. And I was totally unaware of this entirely. So, after trying not to laugh, I'm gonna decide to do some research. Oh my god, maple syrup urine disease is a real thing. Alright, well, okay, let's see, signs and symptoms. Alright, poor feeding, vomiting, lack of energy, abnormal movement, slow development. So after several minutes of shock that this is a literal, real illness called maple syrup urine disease, I want to know, like, how common this disease is. How many people are getting affected by this? And, I want to see, like, what the chances of this couple's kid getting maple syrup urine disease is, alright? So, let's see. 1 in 185,000. Okay, so that's not very likely, but maple syrup urine disease can also spread hereditarily. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to take a look at that pretty soon too. What actually does maple syrup urine disease do though? What does it affect? Mutations in BCKDHA, BCKDHB, and DBT genes. Alright, yeah, I know what that is. I'm a doctor. Okay, so it affects those genes. Cool. Autosomal recessive. Okay, so it's autosomal recessive, I guess. What actually does the disease do? Okay, so after some more research, I've decided to put in scientific terms the effects of this disease. So, coming straight from the mouth of Dr. Sully, maple syrup urine disease seems to be a disorder that makes your piss and earwax smell like maple syrup and then you die. I guess it kills you. I'm gonna have to mark that as urgent. Good to know. Good to know. Alright, time for the real meat and potatoes here. I guess pancakes and syrup. How am I going to treat this baby? Alright. How do I even diagnose it actually? What? I should probably know that. I'm a real doctor. Alright. Many infants with MSUD, maple syrup urine disease, are identified through newborn screening programs, tandem mass spectrometry, an advanced newborn screening test that screens more than 40 different disorders through one blood sample, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's how you find it. Cool. Hooray. How do I get rid of it? So, assuming you want to get rid of it. So after new research, I found 2 new discoveries. So, so there's like 2 different treatment methods, I suppose. There's just like, supplementing your diet for it, because it stops you from breaking down like amino acids. Science moment. It stops you from breaking down amino acids. So if you just supplement your diet, I guess I can make up for it. Yeah, I'm a doctor. And I guess second is that if you just stop it from having attacks, it just dies? What? That can't be a real thing, right? treatment of episodes of acute metabolic decomposition. The mainstay in the treatment of maple syrup urine disease is dietary restriction of branched chain amino acids. Yeah, okay. Alright, so apparently besides the whole killing you thing, it also makes your earwax smell like maple syrup. It's really weird. Why? Like... Alright. I can understand urine if it like messes with your digestion, but earwax? Doesn't really make any sense. Okay. Alright. So, after another appointment with these parents, I took a little look at their family tree of the patients. Let me look at this file. What are the patients called? The Nuts family. Joan Nuts and Mike Hawk. Dude, I wanna quit. Alright, this is a serious case. I need to take this seriously. So, Joe Nuts. So, Joe Nuts is married to Mr. Mike Hawk. Mr. Michael Hawk. So, they're married, and Joe Nuts actually has the disease. So, professional. So Joe Nuts has the disease and Mike Hawk doesn't. Alright, so that would make, since it's autosomal recessive, that would make Joe Nuts little m. Alright? And then I guess we can assume that Mike Hawk is capital M lowercase m? I don't know. I'm a scientist, alright? Not a... Alright, so let's take a look back. Let's go further back to the family tree. That fell over. Don't worry about it. I'm a scientist. So, Joseph Nuts. Okay. Joanne Nuts. Okay. Jay Nuts. Joe Nuts. Jose Nuts. Janice Nuts. Wait, Janice also is apparently related. Janice is married to Hugh Janus. Right, so let's take a look at their family. Janice Nuts and Hugh Janus. Okay. Have a kid, Laura Janus and Oren Janus. I'm not funny at all. So it turns out Laura Janus does have the disease. So one of their two kids has it. Interesting. Alright, good info. Good info. Alright, so Joan Nuts's father, Joan Nuts' father, Joan Nuts, who's the mother we're looking at. Her father, Joe Nuts, as in Joseph Nuts, has the disease as well. So her father has it. Jane Nuts does not. However, Joan has a sister, Dee's Nuts. Dee's Nuts. I'm not funny, dude. Dee's Nuts. And she does not have the disease. So, it looks like it affects one more man than it does lady in this bloodline, but I don't think it's sex-linked. I don't think it's sex-linked. I think that's just a coincidence. Alright, so, for recording purposes, for the records, I'm going to record my, my counseling session with, you two, Mrs. Joan Nuts and Mr. Mike Hawk. Alright, so, disease is maple syrup urine disease. Is that correct? Yes. Alright, you don't need to speak. I can't get other people to act. Autosomal recessive. This is for the Nuts family, for the recording. So Mother Joan Nuts is a genotype MM, and she has maple syrup urine disease. So Father Mike Hawk. This is stupid. Mike Hawk is capital M lowercase m and doesn't have the disease. So the probability of your kid having it is about 50%. According to this handy dandy, what's it called? This handy dandy Punnett square. So, see, after some extensive research I've done about maple syrup urine disease, I found out that maple syrup urine disease is much more serious than I thought. You see, maple syrup urine disease makes you unable to break down amino acids, which can lead to fatality. Maple syrup urine disease can also lead to things like, vomiting, lethargy, and slow development. Maple syrup urine disease can only be properly treated by managing your kid's diet as well as treatment with metabolic supplements. But you only have like a 50% chance of your kid getting maple syrup urine disease, so as long as you only have one kid, you could let it ride and take a risk, if you really want to do that. But I would be aware that your kid has maple syrup urine disease, he's going to be bullied heavily at school, so before he eventually, dies from his illness, of course. So, yeah, do you guys want to pay now? So, I'd consider that a successful science experiment test thing. I don't know, dude. I'm not a real doctor. I would consider this a successful counseling session with Mr. and Mrs. Hawk, I suppose. I believe they're engaged. So, the soon-to-be Mrs. Hawk. Very happy. I'm tearing up as I'm saying it. So, I suppose this is goodbye, signing off from Dr. Sully, head scientist at this science lab. This is stupid.